favorite vegan fried chicken recipe. It's delightfully crunchy, crispy, and so satisfying. Check it out.
I'm using firm tofu in this recipe. Extra firm would also work well. This tofu has been frozen, defrosted, and the liquid squeezed out. If you haven't yet tried tofu that has been previously frozen, you really should. Freezing changes the structure of the tofu, making it meatier. I quarter the tofu and add poultry season, which contains no poultry, and salt. If you have time, you could add more seasoning and refrigerate for a couple of hours. To save time, I've already made the batter. The recipe for the batter will be in the description box along with the instructions for making this crunchy tofu. I'm using panko in this recipe, which adds the crunch. I add a bit of poultry seasoning and salt to the panko. The key to making fried chicken tofu is rice paper. You can buy this at most grocery stores these days. One piece of paper gets soaked in hot water for just a couple of seconds, and then we wrap the tofu in, just like a little package. If you've never worked with rice paper before, it can be a bit tricky. Don't be surprised if you have to throw a couple away at first. If you soak the rice paper for too long, then the paper will get too sticky, and if you soak it for too short a time, then the paper will be too stiff for wrapping. I like to wrap all of mine before dipping in the breading. If you are worried about the wrapped tofu sticking to your dish, just wipe a small amount of oil onto the dish.
Hey, I'm on Instagram every single day, posting new content and recipes and sharing behind the scenes moments. Check out the link in the description box. Let's be friends.
The tofu gets dipped into the batter first. Be sure to wipe away any excess batter. Then the tofu gets pressed onto the seasoned panko. I am deep frying this tofu. You could try to use an air fryer. If you do, let us know how it worked out in the comments. I heat my oil to 350 degrees. I'm using a thermometer. If you don't have one, there are a few different tricks to see if the oil is hot enough. My favorite is to test with a wooden skewer. If you see bubbling around the skewer, then you know the oil is hot. I add 2 breaded tofus to the oil. We don't want to overcrowd the pan as the oil would lose too much temperature and then the tofu would become greasy. I cook the tofu for about 3 minutes or until the tofu is golden brown on all sides. And I place the tofu on paper towels to absorb any excess oil. One thing you want is to make sure that rice paper underneath cooks, so you don't want to take it out too soon or else you'll have gummy rice paper inside. The oil should be brought back up to temperature again before adding more tofu.
Like what you see? Subscribe now for more delicious vegan recipes.
While the next tofu cooks, let's make some vegan hot honey. This is just equal parts wing sauce and agave or maple syrup. I also add a bit of vinegar. I love this hot honey, and we make it every time we cook any kind of crunchy tofu. Did you hear the crunch on that tofu? This tofu is so freaking good and even better with the hot honey. Give it a try today.
Check out this video for Bing Bing cauliflower. gonna leave all that in there.